Guys of a Certain Age is brought to you by no one. Absolutely no one. Except these dudes walking down memory lane. Now let's head to the studio to see what they misremember next.
Thanks, Jay. It's Guys of a Certain Age. You know, I had this really clever intro, and Jay decides to cough over the phone. Thanks so much for that, Jay.
You're still counting down, man.
No, I'd stopped counting down. I go 3, 2, 1. That's okay. It's the podcast where some of us had to walk up hills in snow both ways just to make happen. It's Guys of a Certain Age. I'm Robbie Coblentz in an abandoned but warm studio, joined alongside
Art Shirley.
And
Jay Reed.
And Mr. Coffer himself, Jay Reed. So how are you guys doing? This is our snow day episode.
Our remote operations day, if the case may be, but yes.
Yeah, well.
Y'all, what did y'all say?
I'm still on Christmas vacation.
Are you?
3 weeks later, Jay's still on Christmas vacation, so that's okay. That's allowed. So
we actually got a pretty snow. I wasn't expecting it to be much of anything, and
we did too.
Yeah, so that's good.
Watch the yellow snow if you're making snow ice cream is all I got to say. Homage.
Can you make snow gelato? Is that a thing?
I have no idea. Why would you do that when Dolce's open to provide all your gelato and hot coffee and bagel needs, even as we said?
I'm still trying to figure out why you walked your heels up to your workplace.
You know,
that's the picture I don't want to picture anymore.
So what's really funny is, you know, when the boys were younger, I've told this story before, Bonnie walked them to school because Sudeth Elementary was like half of a mile, 2/3 of a mile from the house. And so Bonnie would walk the boys to school every day. And there were a couple hills, and like, you know, when it was cold or there was a snow flurry day, she made them walk to school. Up hills both ways.
That is too funny.
So, you know, when our boys are crotchety old men, they can tell their kids and their grandkids, when I was your age, I had to walk to school up hills both ways in snow and ice. So,
wow.
Yeah.
So when they take over this podcast and we go into, year 30 of Guys of a Certain Age.
Yeah. So I don't think that's going to happen. But anyway, all right, let's jump into Geeks of the Week as pre-selected by the Ouija ball. I think Art's going to do a Geek of the Week. Is that correct?
Yes.
The Ouija ball?
Okay. The squeegee ball, Ouija ball. What's the little magic 8 ball, whatever the thing is?
Magic 8 ball or the Ouija board.
Yeah.
Let's stick with the magic 8 ball.
Yeah. We may have to mute Jay until it's time for his geek.
I know. I'm thinking. It's a shame he doesn't know of some place where he might buy medicine for that call.
That's right. What you got this week, Art?
All right, we've got some new rumors about the Hulk versus Wolverine movie that's been talked about over the years and never really seemed to have a real chance in life. But now that Hugh Jackman has come back as Wolverine and the success of Wolverine versus Deadpool, people really want to see a Hulk versus Wolverine movie. And of course, we've got, Captain America, Brave New World. That's what it is, right?
Brave New World. Brave Ouija World, I believe. It's Brave Ouija
World. Yeah. Coming out. We've got a Red Hulk, so there's a little bit more Hulk excitement too. But what they're saying is, no, that's not going to be the next Hulk movie. Probably what will happen is there'll be a Doomsday or Secret Wars movie or series or whatever to kind of plant the seeds for us. And there'll be a small round one fight.
Art. Jay.
I'm here. I'm still here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Did you cut Art off on purpose, Jay?
I wish I don't have anything close to that kind of power.
That was kind of interesting.
Remember I'm talking to you on an iPhone SE. I'm barely. What's the one?
Oh, that's.
You can hear me.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. Let me text Mr. Shirley. This is almost live radio. Call failed.
Oh gosh.
Okay, let's try this again. All right, here we go. We're going to see who's...
Wi-Fi might have gone out in West Point.
Hello.
There you are. And we've been recording this entire time, and so it's the closest thing to live radio that we've experienced in a long time. So
no kidding. Okay, so how far did I get?
Red Hulk. Click.
Doomsday
So anyway,
movie
what
to introduce.
they're saying is that Hulk versus Wolverine movie, if and when that happens, and gosh, how much older can they let Hugh Jackman get to be, and or Mark Ruffalo either one?
Harrison Ford says, "Hold on, wait, hold my beer." So
that's right.
Yeah,
hold my Geritol.
Okay, yeah.
But so if that movie happens, if and when that movie happens, it's probably going to happen during the mutant saga, which will be, once the X-Men and all the mutants are out full force in the MCU. And I think the first introduction of the X-Men or mutants to the MCU will be in Fantastic Four. Is that right? Or is there some other thing that I'm missing that it might come out?
Nobody really knows, but that's been the speculation that's when you're going to get a reference at least.
Yeah, really start to see them. I mean, obviously we've got Wolverine and Deadpool, which is part of that world now, but I think from what I understand, Fantastic Four is going to really open the door for the X-Men.
Yeah, anyway,
that'd be exciting. Be kind of fun to see Hulk versus Wolverine. There's some great comics that feature those, some iconic images from those that we see all the time. But so that's kind of exciting to hear about.
Yeah, that should be a lot of fun. So, but poor Hugh Jackman, he can't get away from Marvel, can he? I mean,
no, he can't.
It's like the mob,
Yeah. So. They keep pulling him back in. So.
Yeah, Kevin Feige is the Godfather. So
he's a pretty good retirement plan, though.
Well, yeah,
yes, no kidding, no kidding.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I need some money. Let me get the yellow and blue tights back on. So
yeah, Wolverine versus fill in the blank. I mean, you can keep going for a long time.
I mean, if Mike Tyson can do it, Hugh Jackman can too.
That's right.
I mean,
that's right. Maybe Wolverine versus Mike Tyson will be the next one.
Ooh, wow. That could be really interesting. And I don't know who would win that one. So, but okay.
And who really seems more like a fictional character?
Yeah. Who's got the bionic ear chomping superpower? So
that's right.
Yeah.
And the face tattoo, the whole thing.
Okay. All right. Stuff of nightmares. Jay, bring us back to sanity. What's your geek this week?
My geek is a flashback, as will be a surprise to no one. Came across this in Ryan. It seems like we're always coming back to Ryan Reynolds. We did mention Deadpool, so I guess it's a nice little segue. But learned this week that back in 2018, when Ryan Reynolds was touring the world promoting Deadpool 2, he was in South Korea, and he was like, asked the question, what is the craziest thing we could do to promote this movie? And at the time, I don't know if y'all have ever seen the show The Masked Singer. I've never really watched it, but I'm familiar with it. Well, apparently it started in South Korea before it ever came to the States and got to what it is now. So he found out about this show and how kind of, wacky it was. He says, we got to do this. So he did the show. It was not nearly as elaborate as it is in the U.S. version. He had kind of this mask, a unicorn mask on and a cape, and goes out and sings The Sun Will Come Out Tomorrow from Annie. And he really doesn't do a bad job of it, but just significantly, he was the first Westerner to ever appear on the show. The contestants or whoever they are, I don't know how that format works, but the people who were watching and guessing or whatever, the place went crazy when he took his mask off, of course. And it was all for Deadpool. But then later, I think a couple of years later, when he was promoting Spirited, he was telling this story on the Today Show and talked about, of course, on the show, he talks about what an honor it is to be there and thank you for letting me come and blah, blah, blah. Of course, there's some Deadpool clips. Well, then on Today's Show, he said it was absolute hell. I was so traumatized by this experience. And, he said, like I said, he was trying to do the craziest thing. But then once he got out there, it's like, what in the world am I doing? But he really did a pretty decent job. He can sing. He's singing Spirited and other things. You see him singing on his Instagram all the time.
Uh-huh. And I've seen that clip. I really thought it was something
just a little Ryan Reynolds trivia.
Now you can talk. You can talk now.
Yeah, thank you. I've
Go
seen
ahead.
that clip, and I thought it was just something that was staged. So, but it actually happened on the live show.
Oh yeah, when
Wow.
you go to because when on the Instagram page, whatever it was that I saw it on, it said it gave credit to like MWBC or NBC or something, which was a Korean broadcast channel. And so I went to that website, or that Instagram page. Of course, I could read nothing, but
Yeah.
but it was I Googled it to verify because that's what you do, and it was legit. Yeah, it was legit because he was talking about it on the Today Show, a couple of years later. So he even verified it. So yeah, it was for real.
That's pretty cool.
The links you'll go to promote your movie.
I'm just waiting for you to do something like that, Jay, to promote this podcast.
Oh well, hey, you're the guy with the connections. Set me up.
No, that's no fun. I want to see what you come up with. All
right, stand by. Stay tuned.
Yeah, he's gonna get a guest columnist spot in Popular Mechanics or something, and promote the show. Which we might pick up 3 new listeners that way, which would be a percentage increase by far. So anyway, all right. So I've got an interesting geek in the media landscape. So yesterday, and the news broke yesterday as we record. It's been confirmed today. You guys remember one of my geeks a little time back was the Venue joint streaming service, VENU, which was going to be ESPN and Fox Sports. They're going to take all their live sports, bundle it into one service for $43 a month, and call it Venue Sports. You remember that?
Vaguely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vaguely. Yeah.
Well, so they were trying to get it up and launched before NFL this last fall, and Fubo, whatever, Fubo, Fubo, sorry, Mrs. Reed, filed an antitrust suit in federal court against the parties engaged in Venue, saying it was an anti-competitive practice, blah, 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 blah. So a judge issued an injunction. Well, I don't know if you guys remember, we haven't covered it because it's just happened in the past couple of days. Prior to this, Disney has agreed to merge their Hulu Live TV unit with Fubo. So they've taken a controlling interest in Fubo, which leads me to think that Disney's going to go with a standalone streaming sports service on their own without Fox Sports or CBS or anybody else. Since they've taken out one of the players who objected by buying them and moving or morphing their Hulu Live product to incorporate with Fubo, then, Venue's dead, long live Venue. I think something's going to happen with Disney and ESPN because they've got the majority of sports content, right? So, if you're going to look for anything other than Notre Dame football and the Pac-2, you go to ESPN at this point. So, very, very interesting. Now, Art, you've got YouTube TV?
Yes.
And Jay, are you still doing C Spire or what's your...
No, I got YouTube TV now.
So, and we've gotten hit with an increase to $82 and change going forward. So all of a sudden we're getting close to DirecTV operational cost, or Comcast or whoever you had prior to. This is really interesting to me that, Disney may be going it alone by spinning off an ESPN subscription service, which would be something I might be interested in because I find myself watching very little live non-sports. What about you guys? Are you watching any network television news, anything that you couldn't grab on a next day basis with Hulu or something like that?
Rarely.
Well, now that so much like it depends on who the network is. So Hulu used to have everything, but now if it's a CBS show, you've got to have Paramount. If it's an NBC show for next day, you've got to have Peacock. So it's gotten harder to do that. We do watch, and I guess because we're really of a certain age, we're watching, Matlock and Elsbeth on CBS and loving them. We also watch Abbott Elementary, but that's something that is on ABC, so we get that on Hulu. Now, I do have a system that I can't remember the name of it now, but for HD to record HD
Plex
signals. No, it's gosh, I'm seriously just drawing a blank on it. It starts with the T, and I can't remember what.
Because you can get a tuner to integrate in with Plex and record off air as well. Just FYI, but I was trying to give you time to figure out what it was, but
yeah,
apparently that didn't work.
No, it didn't. I appreciate it. And I'm sitting there, and I know what it is, but I cannot remember what it is. Anyway, I've got that, so we could do that for our live stuff because, yes, other than that, it's typically, especially, this past season we just got through, it's to watch, sports stuff.
Yeah.
That's the main reason we have probably that stuff. Tableau. I don't know why I can remember that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tableau.
Because that rolls off the tongue. Yeah.
It rolls off the tongue and makes so sense. Tableau. Anyway, but it's a DVR that you hook an HD antenna in, and you can schedule and record, shows from HD. You can also use it to stream to any of your smart TVs or boxes. And you also have a mobile device, so you could watch, live HD TV or recorded stuff on your phone or iPad. So it's pretty cool, but it's like the HD signal's not always so great. So
yeah. What about you, Jay? I mean, what are your thoughts?
I think every now and then I'll watch something that's not sports, but that is the main reason that we have it. But every now and then we'll watch. Like I think we watched when the last Yellowstone season came out. We had Paramount Plus and could have watched it there probably, but we actually watched it and recorded it on YouTube TV as it came out. But as you might remember, I'm not always Johnny on the spot in watching things right away. So I could have watched it somewhere else later. But I don't know. The sports thing is I'm not watching all the sports that you're watching. I don't think. Like I'm watching college football. I watch NFL through the Super Bowl. And then after that, if my team makes it to Omaha, then I'm going to watch that. But otherwise, I'm probably not watching much baseball. I'm not watching much basketball. So I don't know that I would subscribe to a sports thing unless that was the only way I could get it.
Yeah.
I would probably stick with the YouTube just on the off chance that I wanted to watch, the news or something along the way. It would just kind of be a situational thing. I'd have to kind of play it out and see.
Yeah.
I'm just not that much of a, if it was marching band channel, I'm in. But I don't know about
and it probably will be. Yes, that's what you need to trademark and get, Jay.
So
I'm sure there'll be a name for that.
The name for that is Fair Weather Fan. That's what that is. FWF Network, Fair Weather Fan Network. So, it's interesting. I watch a lot more college basketball than either of you guys.
See, I don't really watch basketball or baseball. So that wouldn't appeal to me that much. But
I've watched Mississippi State volleyball. I've watched Mississippi State soccer, men's and women's basketball, as well as football and baseball. I mean, I'm at every home game or most every home game possible. So interesting. Talk about Paramount Plus. Another shout out to Landman on Paramount Plus. If you guys have not started watching it, the last episode is going to drop. I think it's dropping this Sunday. I cannot recommend it highly enough. There was a cameo by Jerry Jones, owner of the Cowboys, with a very poignant speech. And you can find that piece on the interwebs. It made a big splash this week. I would recommend that you go and watch what he says, because it made me actually like Jerry Jones. But Landman is great. It's Billy Bob Thornton. It's Ali Lardner. It's John Hamm, Demi Moore, and obviously Jerry Jones is playing himself. It's a lot of fun.
I like what I've seen. I'll probably go back and watch that.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. So the other thing I was going to ask you guys before we kick it to break, have you enabled any of the latest iOS Apple Intelligence features on your phones, iPads, or computers?
Well,
I have not.
Yeah.
I have not yet.
So Jay has not because he can't. So I the last, I think it's iOS 18.2.1. I enabled Apple Intelligence, and it's been okay. It's going to give you top line summaries of emails. If there's conversations and messages, it'll give you a top line summary for that. So in our family group, which obviously myself, Bonnie, the boys, and Crystal, David and Mark, well, David goes after Mark because of his quote weight problem. Mark has no weight problem. The only person who has a weight problem would be me. Nobody else even has remotely a weight problem. And so in a lengthy conversation about how Mark was probably the favorite grandchild because he went out to Bonnie's parents and did some work, the top line summary in the family group text conversation was cold weather mentioned, comment about grandchild's weight and health. And and I just about died. I snipped it and sent it to the family. So
that is too funny.
Yeah, AI. Thank you, Apple, for body shaming my children. I really appreciate that. So,
gosh.
Yeah.
So, I may try to do that. I've got, I looked at some of the stuff, and some of it may be kind of interesting. So,
yeah, it's pretty interesting. It does a decent job. Like if you've got priority messages, if you've got favorite senders in mail, it's going to take it to the top of the box and try to give you a quick summary. I've not used any of the writing tools yet. But AI is here, guys.
It is, absolutely is.
Kind of crazy. So, which by the way, Art, you would find this interesting. I don't know if you saw this news today or not. But because of AI, Shutterstock and Getty Images are merging.
Wow.
Yeah, $3.7 billion deal. It's got to be stock. It can't be cash.
Those are the two big boys.
Yeah. So because of generative AI for photos and because of high stock image cost, you've got to figure they're thinking we've got economies of scale. We've got to do something. So pretty interesting. Those of you in the creative space. So, but anywho, all right. So we're going to take a break. Up next, I had a conversation with two younger guys of a certain age, much younger. One listens to the show, and one tolerates the show when he's on it. That's up next. And we're back with the second half of the episode. This is a little different because I've gotten rid of Art, I've gotten rid of Jay, and I've got my son, Mark Coblentz.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, and Cody Perkins.
Pleasure to be here.
And Cody is one of our newest listeners, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, so what made you decide to listen to three old guys do a meandering podcast?
Felt bad for you. I just think Robbie's like the coolest guy in the world, so I'll try to learn about his childhood.
All right, here's your $10. So I had some questions as a guy of a certain age. Want to ask you guys some questions and get your response, and then get some advice so that Jay, Art, and I can be a little bit hipper. Okay, Mark.
Whatever you want.
All right. So first question is, when I say the phrase yacht rock, what do you think of?
70s, 80s, kind of the cool music, like the good music from the 80s. I've never been a big rock fan, but I'm 70s, 80s, boat music.
So Cody, when I say yacht rock, what do you think?
I honestly have no idea. I'm gonna go with Mark's answer there. I don't know, something you can play on the lake.
You don't know what like. Doobie Brothers, Michael McDonald.
It's got that certain sound, like
Toto.
I always think of Tears for Fears. Everybody wants to rule the world.
That is not yacht rock at all.
That's what I think of.
Yeah,
You're asking us. That's
not yacht rock at all. So, you know the Doobie Brothers, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't. He's
No,
just,
not really.
Fake it till you make it.
I'm not very cultured, okay?
You're not. He is from the Delta. So, all right. So that's what Mark thinks about yacht rock. So, but Tears for Fears is not yacht rock.
Well, who are you to tell one man what his dreams are? So, that's just what I think of.
That's just what you think. So you need to watch that yacht rock documentary on HBO Max.
I'll read
great.
the Spark Notes.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. It's a lot of fun. So, well, what kind of music do you listen to, Perk?
I'm mostly a country guy now. Me and Mark kind of have a connection here.
Yeah, we
with,
share
Zach
a lot
Bryan.
of similarities. Yeah. Big Zach Bryan fans over here.
Why are you Zach Bryan fans?
He makes good music. I mean, I remember almost vividly, we were in class one day, constructions class, like 8th or 9th grade, in Mr. Rice's class, and we were just listening to music, and he was yelling at us for being on the computer, and we were just watching around. We watched Zach Bryan's first big viral video, heading south of him with a guitar around a campfire. We're just, this guy's pretty good, and, over the years kind of stuck with him, and he's made good music, and he's a funny guy to keep up with. He has some controversies in the media, but, all superstars do.
So, yeah,
Cody.
my story with Zach Bryan, I guess, is I'm a little bit older than Mark, so I think I could have been a senior in high school or a freshman in college, and TikTok had, been blowing up at that time, and there's a lot of people on TikTok that think they could be superstars, and so I came across the Zach Bryan guy, and I'm like, yeah, he's pretty good, he's solid, and then, it's every other video you scroll through, and I'm like, this is getting kind of old. And so I kind of settled on him for a while, honestly. And then he released some more music around, I feel like it was 2020, 2021. And I really dove head first. And so Mark and I have seen him in concert together, stood together
Great
the whole
time.
time.
Where was that at?
Birmingham.
Yeah.
That's where he and I locked eyes.
Mark and Zach Bryan, not Mark and I.
Did you guys go up for that concert together?
No, we met up there. Bush and I went up, and
Yeah.
then we met, all the Perkins brothers and Miss Emmy, not Emmy, not Emmy.
Temple, if you are listening, he's talking about you, I believe.
I was thinking of Sky.
Oh, I thought Emmy was your other girlfriend.
No.
Thinking of a friend's old girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. Bless her heart. Yes. Okay. So I get Zach Bryan and Morgan Wallen mixed up. How can I discern between Zach Bryan and Morgan Wallen? What's the difference?
They both have their fair share of spotlights in the media, but Zach Bryan's a little more of an independent kind of style. He's not something you hear on the radio all the time. There's a talk about Nashville country versus everything else. Morgan Wallen is very much a Nashville country guy, and Zach's kind of against that, but the fame still follows him. If you remember Morgan Wallen a couple months ago throwing that chair off the balcony, those are the type of stuff he gets into. And then, Zach Bryan has women drama. So
I was gonna say they both don't shy away from controversy
100%.
for sure. Maybe different kind of controversy, but I think Morgan leans into the Nashville country scene, and he does a great job with it. And I like a lot of his stuff. I think it can get repetitive at times, but I do like Morgan a lot. But Zach is one that he wants to break the mold, and so he even tries to maybe not even be a country artist sometimes. And I would say that's even to his detriment on the popularity scene, but he's kind of unashamed of it and is true to his own form. So I think that's kind of, I respect him a little bit more for that, and that's kind of why I'm drawn to him as well.
What's crazy is when I was your age, we wouldn't be caught dead listening to country. Hot country.
not as cool as us.
Well, so the country that was coming out when I was in my early 20s, that's when the whole hot country phase started.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'm going to ask you, who would you prefer? Who would you listen to first, Garth Brooks or Hank Jr.? Hank Williams Jr., in case you don't know.
The problem with Garth Brooks is you don't really get a whole lot of exposure to his music as much anymore because he's not on streaming platforms, right?
I believe.
Yeah,
you're
he's
correct.
not. So you have to listen to the radio to listen to Garth Brooks, and I don't have a Sirius XM subscription, and I kind of get tired of country radio, so probably more Hank Williams Jr. But he has his fair share of interesting songs as well.
Who, Hank?
Hank.
Oh yeah, he's the original outlaw country guy. His dad was. So
For me, I'm probably more drawn to Garth because growing up, my mom was kind of a Garth Brooks fan.
Yeah.
And so just like naturally, that's what I listened to in the car riding to school every day. But I had a roommate in college that he was big on the outlaw country scene. And so also by just riding around with him and stuff, you kind of, you get sucked into that as well, I guess. So I still think I would go with Garth Brooks, though.
all right, and we'll see how far back you go with country. So name any song by Glenn Campbell.
Yeah, no. Wait, hold on.
No,
I think I might have one.
Put the phone down. Come on.
Yeah, I've got nothing. Maybe if you played one for me, I might would recognize it. But
Biggest hit, Rhinestone Cowboy.
That was okay. That's
And,
what I
and
thought.
then Southern Nights was a big tune.
So the problem is blaming you. Mom listened to some country growing up. You hated it. So
I still hate country.
I didn't listen to any country till I hit high school. Till I
Yeah.
got around, the rednecks in construction. That's when it started. I was like, yeah, I was very adamantly against it, and then I was like, oh, it's not so bad. And then Zach Bryan, Tyler Childers, Morgan Wallen, started finding them on TikTok, online, and through just natural. Back when I didn't have a USB hookup in my truck, just listen to country radio, and it just kind of evolved over time.
I think I could probably give you my login for Sirius XM, and you can listen on your phone.
I have no interest. Bluetooth now and Spotify. I spend
But man, there's
tens
so
of
many
thousands of minutes on Spotify.
There's so many great channels. There's something about having a DJ hosted channel. And it's something that you guys really haven't experienced that much.
They got that AI DJ now on Spotify. He's hit or miss, but
probably more miss than hit.
Yeah, probably more miss.
So, all right, let me. You couldn't do anything by Glenn Campbell, Brooks and Dunn.
Yeah, Neon Moon.
Yeah.
They've done a couple with new stuff like 1-2 Minis with Luke Combs. Is one of the hot big ones. Again, I'm not too deep in my bag with Brooks and Dunn, but their classic is.
I do enjoy their reboot albums that they've been doing. It's been pretty good.
They've been doing.
They did another one, yeah.
Okay.
Recently.
Yeah,
Cool.
I enjoy that. Yeah.
All right, let's pivot to rock music. 70s or 80s rock?
Like I said, I'm not a big rock guy.
My dad would be ashamed of me because I don't know what to say. Mom was an Eagles fan, and I would say Dad is. He put me on Journey, but I wouldn't say Journey's probably his favorite. I don't know what he would say his favorite was.
What do you constitute as a rock band? Because when I think of a rock band, I think of headbanging, loud electric guitars. Like
Anything that's not country or urban.
Eagles as rock at all.
Eagles came out. They would be if they came out today, they would be country rock, but they were a rock band in the 70s.
I wouldn't put any country there, but I've gotten into the Eagles.
Seven Bridges Road. Oh yeah.
I've gotten to not a deep cut, but I've started listening to them more and more, and I've enjoyed them a lot.
You and I should go to Vegas to see the Eagles in the Sphere.
I've always wanted to go to the Sphere.
Yeah.
What would you classify like Foreigner as?
Foreigner is 80s.
Okay,
80s album rock or arena rock. Foreigner, Journey, those guys were arena rock.
This may be I don't know, maybe bad for me to say or something though, but Jukebox Hero is like one of my favorite songs
It's
of
a
all
great
time.
tune.
Yeah.
It's a great tune. So
I'm sure that's super
What I was going to ask you guys, Led Zeppelin or U2?
U2.
Led Zeppelin for sure.
You listen to U2 grow up.
Oh yeah,
I don't listen to them much at all, but
I've seen them 6 times at concert, buddy.
So exactly, osmosis or whatever you want to.
Yeah,
chalk it up to.
Used to make you listen to how to disassemble an atomic bomb. Your uncle and I gave that to each other for birthday one year, and every time I play a particular tune, they go, "Uncle Matt's present." It was really. You remember that?
What song was that?
City of Blinding Lights.
That's right. Yeah,
which is a
I
great.
get U2 and Coldplay mixed up.
There
a lot of similarities.
There's some similarities there. Coldplay they were big there for a minute. but
they're still huge.
Yeah, but they're not as. I don't think they're quite as big.
I'd go to a Coldplay concert before just about many other bands in the world. I mean, there's very few bands above them.
There's only 3 or 4 songs I like. I'm sorry, Cody.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt. I think Coldplay has a reputation for being like some of the best live performers of all time. So I would definitely go for sure.
What about Dave Matthews?
See,
I couldn't name a song, but I know who.
Yeah.
the Dave
And
Matthews
performance is pretty good. Would you go to a Widespread show?
no idea who that is.
Widespread Panic? Really?
Yeah, it doesn't,
Wow.
I couldn't name a song.
Yeah.
I know all these names.
I don't know that I can name a song, but Widespread Panic is a huge. They're like the jam band. They took kind of the. They took the mantle when Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead passed on, and the Grateful Dead essentially disbanded. Well, they still tour, but they're not the Dead without Garcia. Widespread Panic took that touring jam band title.
This is kind of where the disparities between our generations come through. All y'all had was the radio. Now with the streaming and Spotify and YouTube, you can cherry pick what you want to listen to. So, I mean, I have 1,400 songs saved in my liked playlist that I'll listen to. But I mean, occasionally, DJ will give me some suggestions,
I think I have over 30,000 songs on my iPhone.
There's no way.
There's not a whole lot of deviation from those 1,400 songs, give or take. I mean, I'll add one probably a week, then listen to it for a week or two, and kind of move on. Occasionally I find one that I like a lot, but
I've got like close to 30,000 songs.
Like
I've
bought
got so
songs, purchased.
Not all I mean, like from CDs I've ripped. I mean, I've got so many CDs, albums I burned.
Isn't that a federal crime?
No,
Pirating is a felony.
Oh, it is, but
Yeah.
But the Supreme Court ruled that if you own it in one media and you're converting it like from CD to
It's got
an
to be
MP3
bounty for those crimes.
No bounty at all. So you're a little too late there, buddy.
I do think Mark brings up a good point though, because I do think that's maybe a detriment to our generation, is because I'm the same way as Mark. We get in our groove of like, we know who we like, and we kind of just like roll with that.
And the algorithm decides what you like. And, we've talked about this on the show before, but when I was your age and younger, an album release was an event. It cost so much money to produce an album. I mean, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, and the labels put so much money into promoting them and getting the music out to the radio stations and the albums to record shops, that an album release, which was usually on a Tuesday, if I remember correctly, was an event. There wasn't nearly as much music being put out back then as there is now, because anybody can buy a laptop and some software and produce.
I mean, going back to Zach Bryan, his first album was released in a barn Airbnb.
Yeah,
bunch of mattresses and stuff like that, and I think it went platinum, at least went gold.
Who's the guy? Owl City Fireflies.
Yeah,
you remember that?
Uh-huh.
He produced an entire album in his room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it went huge. And the thing was, back in the day, an album would have a theme. You would put songs at certain places on the album, and you'd have the A side, B side. And now it's all song based. And Taylor Swift does a little bit of that with her releases, but it's just a different world. Now there's some great music out there. So
yeah.
All right. Last question I'm coming to, because this has become the modern music. Other than Zach Bryan, Cody Perkins, who's your favorite artist or band other than Zach? Give me somebody else, and why?
Can I defer to Mark for a moment while I think? You kind of put me on the spot.
All right.
Probably my number 2. It's a tough one, but like based on minutes is going to be either. I have to give off 3 answers. Parker McCollum, kind of red dirt, Texas, Oklahoma country. Riley Green from Jacksonville, Alabama. Was supposed to see him. I'm seeing Parker soon. Supposed to see him at Rock the South. Kind of missed him. And then third would be probably this band called Treaty Oak Revival. They're from Texas, red dirt. Bush and I saw them on their first tour when they came to Rick's, and there was maybe 80 people there. And then they came when we were at the Texas A&M game last year for another go around, and they sold out 800 tickets. I was kind of bummed to miss them twice, but. There's no one straight answer, but all those are country guys, country bands.
And Rick's has done a great job here of
Rick's
getting
has had Morgan Wallen. I mean, yeah,
up and comers. Yeah.
They even had Maroon 5 back in the day.
Yeah. So all right, Cody Perks, Perky Perk.
So like probably my second on my listen list would probably be like Cody Johnson.
Yeah.
And so he's just a country music guy. Used to be a literal cowboy, like did rodeos and everything. And then stepped away from rodeo to start making music, and he's blown up, and he's one of the biggest names on the country scene, I would say. And since I kind of fancy myself being a cowboy every now and then, I've got a cowboy hat or two and definitely some boots. So
great performer.
Yeah, I think haven't seen him in person myself, but
Temple and I saw him.
Yeah,
Rock the South. Yeah.
Oh,
you
that's right.
saw him with his girlfriend.
No, it was Mary Margaret and I. We went down day 3. We got on the right side of the GA, and Temple was there, and she gave us chicken tenders, and it was a great time.
I love Temple.
Temple
if you're
goes
listening.
on so many trips without me because I'm a homebody, so I'm like I'm completely
wait,
fine.
didn't you go to Colorado without her for?
She was with me, okay?
You know,
Oh, she did go with you to Colorado?
She does. I don't go anywhere without her, but she goes plenty of places without
She's in
me.
Guatemala now, right? Yeah. Doing a medical mission.
That's right.
Tropical vacation.
Those are quotes, air quotes, right there.
Oh, come on! No, I'm sure
she's doing some good.
Yeah.
But, my next would probably be I listen to a lot of Morgan. I've kind of been burnt out on him lately, but Warren Ziders is a guy that he's not necessarily underground or anything. A lot of people know him now, and he's been to Rick's recently last year, and hopefully he'll come back. He's a great performer, but would say he loves the mic. He'll get pretty loud sometimes, but I love a lot of his stuff.
I have a buddy. His name's Nate. He's from Canada, and he comes down every now and then. One of his best friends plays football here at Mississippi State, Albert Reese. Nate loves Warren Ziders. I think Nate's seen him a couple times. Nate wants to be an American. He's an honorary American in my heart. Born and raised Canadian.
We need to go see Nate.
I know. I want to go see Nate.
He's Edmondson?
Somewhere up there. I don't know, but I'd go see Nate. He said anytime I want to come, I got a place, and he manages a bar, and he's just a stand-up dude, but he loves him some Warren Ziders.
Boy, we had him over one Monday night for dinner and made like this awesome fire. Nate's great. Shout out to Nate. So.
I would last thing I'd like to add, because I know the listeners, how many ever there are
all 12
of y'all. Yeah, exactly. Post Malone, so some maybe not country. He's trying to dip into country, I guess. But I had a huge Post Malone phase there, and went and saw him in concert, that was amazing. I was in the nosebleeds and not.
Did you get you some Cane's chicken tenders beforehand?
Yeah, for sure. So big Cane's guys as well. Yeah. So he's a good dude.
One thing about the modern era, everybody's touring nowadays, whether they should or shouldn't. And I've seen some great acts, whether it's at Rick's. I mean, seeing Hardy at Duty Noble. You were there, right, Perk?
Correct.
Cody, excuse me. I call him Perk.
Yeah, we call him Perk, but his real name's Cody Perkins.
There's been some great performances, and I feel like that's something that's a little more accessible nowadays compared to maybe back in your day. The tickets might have been cheaper then, but there's during the school year, there's a performance every week or two.
There are a lot more venues now than what there used to be. So, I mean, in the state of Mississippi, you had the Mississippi Coast Coliseum, you had the Jackson Coliseum, and that was it. And then the Hump was built, and folks would go from, they would hit Starkville. So Garth Brooks played here, Tina Turner played here, Cheap Trick, Bon Jovi on the Slippery When Wet tour, which, Living on a Prayer, You Give Love a Bad Name, and that was a gigantic tour. In fact, the the song Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi, in the music video, there's a shot of behind, it's at the back of the stage, kind of over Bon Jovi's shoulder. He's holding up the microphone, and the house lights come on. That was shot here in Humphrey Coliseum. Oh, wow. Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, but there's just a lot more places because everybody has built an amphitheater or an agri center where you could hold an event. So, and that's the way you make money. Well, you make more. No, not necessarily. That's how you generate your audiences, by touring, and you get your merch. You get all the money from the merch. You get all the money from the albums. So, and you get part of the door.
Definitely think a venue can make or break an artist. I mean, I've seen lots of people, and I still think some of the best performances I've ever seen have been at Rick's. I mean, I've seen, all over the state and all over Alabama and into Louisiana, but some of the best have just been at Rick's Cafe Americana here because it's just that tight, enclosed space, shoulder to shoulder,
I tell you,
sweating on everybody.
a great place to see a show is at the Opera House down in Meridian.
Yeah.
The acoustics are phenomenal. We saw the Gin Blossoms there, which was great.
Didn't know. What's her face come there, though? Jolene.
Reba?
No, not.
Dolly Parton.
Yeah, Dolly Parton.
She came to the Ellis Theater in Philadelphia,
Okay.
which is a
Those
great.
are the same. Philadelphia.
No, they're not the same thing. That's the Ellis Theater is a great venue. A great venue. So, all right, last question. Cane's or Zaxby's?
See, I think they're kind of mediocre. I've never had a good Zaxby's tender, though. Now, I will say the only time I ever eat Zaxby's is catered, so after football games, sitting in a bag for 4 hours, or those giant party platters. Cane's is good. The sauce is most impressive part, and the bread makes it, but the chicken is just chicken's moist, but it's just not seasoned very well. If I don't know those
Slims?
two.
You like Slims better?
I like Cane's better. Slim's is the better overall meal, but Cane's, the bread makes it much better. But dude, Slim's mac and cheese I'd kill.
Cody?
Definitely going Cane's between those two. My little brother would kill me. But I will listen to.
But Little Perk's not here. Sorry,
That's
Little
right.
Perk.
Yeah, and
you don't get the invite, Little Perk.
He can't whoop me anyway, so it doesn't matter. I think between those two, definitely Cane's. And so there's a place that it's kind of spread now, but it was on the coast of Alabama, Fusackley's.
Oh, I've seen Fusackley's.
Yeah, so I love their tenders, actually.
What about Guthrie's?
Yeah, I like Guthrie's. So I lived in Tuscaloosa for a time, and there was a Guthrie's there, and probably didn't go as much as I should have. But going back and visiting every now and then, I'll definitely grab Guthrie's.
One of those two is in Oxford, and we went up for a basketball game. David and my brother and his roommate
My
and I.
son.
Yeah, your son.
Yeah.
Went up for a basketball game, and I think it was Guthrie's. It was either Guthrie's or Fusackley's in Oxford. And it was amazing. It was better than either one of those.
Yeah, Fusackley's is supposed to be really, really good. What about you guys? Probably never. Well, you weren't old enough for Abner's.
I remember Abner's.
We used to get it we would get it catered for tailgating all the time, and loved Abner's.
Wasn't impressed. I mean, I haven't really hit the chicken tender stride until I got older, which is kind of weird. But it's grown on me.
Abner's is the reason there's chicken tenders in the Grove. So. Yeah, and
they can't grill there. It's fake tailgating.
Is it not crazy how Kane started in Baton Rouge, right? And Slim started in Fayetteville. Abner started in Oxford. So there's so many in college town.
The story I heard is Abner's was the first, and so the guys who started Slims up in Fayetteville came to Oxford for a game, went to Abner's. Oh, we can do this. So they started Slims. And I'd heard that the same thing kind of happened with Cane's. Now, I could be incorrect there. But, it's kind of funny how.
Just means more.
That's right. That's right. Fried chicken.
It just means more fried chicken tenders. All right, guys. Did you enjoy yourself, Cody?
Yeah. I hope I did well enough to get invited back one day. Maybe.
So if we were going to invite somebody from our Monday night dinner, we got to talk about our Monday night dinner guys. Who would you want to get the guys of a certain age treatment?
I think he would not be a very good talker. I think if either Bush or David could get some good stories out of him. Now, Bush might be a little, maybe not your guys of a certain age demographic, but Bush
you
is a
guys
funny
aren't
dude.
that.
Well, yeah, but Bush is a funny dude. If you
Bush
can
is a funny
get him
dude.
talking, he would
Yeah.
be good. David also. He's got some interesting sports takes. If you want to get up here and pick his brain about
we may have to get an
anything and
explicit
everything.
rating on the show after that. What about Riley? You wouldn't want Riley?
I was gonna say if I could pick the partner, it would be Riley and Mark. Just to,
that'd be interesting.
we would have to have a live video podcast though, because there would be punches thrown.
Probably, but that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So,
it would. I'd pay to watch it.
Good love for my friend Riley right there.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time
Thanks for
around.
having us.